Welcome back to another daily devotional. Today we are on day 2 of 4 of the Overcoming uh, Bible plan on the YouVersion Bible app. Let's see. And today we just have Ephesians 6 verse 10. So yesterday we had gone through the entire chapter 6 of Ephesians, but today we're just going to do verse 10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. All right, get into the devotional section of today. So, overcoming weakness with strength. We all want more strength. And strength comes in many different ways, right? Okay, so don't get distracted, Nick. Stand strong. There are more than 30 occasions in the Bible where God commands someone to be strong. However, it is not a call to fight, rather, it is a call to have the spiritual strength to stand. We're not commanded to fight because Jesus has already won the battle against Satan. Pause. How great is it that we don't even have to fight? Jesus already won. Okay, let's jump back in. We are called to stand in the victory that Jesus has already won. This is the message of being an overcomer. We are to go on the offensive, not to be on the defensive. And that is a huge paradigm shift. For this short devotional, I'm looking at overcoming weakness with strength. Here are the 4 ways to access God's strength, which he makes available to us. Perfect. Here we go. God's power. 1. God's power is accessed through his word. In the front of my journal, I have written a few life verses that I go to often. I trust that you have selected one or more as well. We access power through reading and obeying the Bible. Focus on those life verses, and they will be deep reservoirs to give you strength. I used to have, this is me branching off here, I used to have a military Bible that I had gotten from one of my wrestling coaches that I had for 1 year. And he was very excited to share it with me. And, I look back at it now. And during my high school years, I was really kind of drifting away from God. I was religious, but I didn't, have religion. I didn't have a relationship with God. So I know there's a difference now, and I didn't really understand it then. But he gave me a list of a couple of Bible verses of being like strong and stuff like that. And I got inspired and did some of my own research and found some more verses. And I haven't looked at that list for a long time. So it's probably time for me to get back into it. All right. Number 2, God's power is accessed through worship. There are different ways to worship. One of the most profound worship songs in the entire Bible is Habakkuk 3:17 through 19. I sense God asking me, will you trust in my wisdom and goodness no matter what happens? In the words of Daniel Henderson, who was writing extensively on prayer, we must first seek the face of God before we can seek his hand. So number 3, God's power is accessed through waiting. The author says, I am not very good at waiting. I would imagine many of us are not good at waiting. Being patient is definitely a task that needs practice, but God definitely gives us plenty of practice. All right, sorry about that. I had a potential member walk into the gym. All right, getting back into number 3, God's power is accessed through waiting. I'm not very good at waiting. In fact, I can be very impatient. The frantic pace of our lives affects peace. And when there is no peace, there is no strength. Author Ken Blanchard writes, solitude and silence gives us some peace, some space to reform our innermost attitudes towards people and events, to take the world off of our shoulders for a time and interrupt our habit of constantly managing things, of being in control and thinking we are in control. Number 4, God's power is accessed through our weakness. Charles Spurgeon writes, God does not need your strength. He has more than enough power of his own. That is so true. He asks for your weakness. He has none of that himself, and he is longing, therefore, to take your weakness and use it as an instrument in his mighty hand You will not yield your weakness to him and receive his strength. It is when we are all out of answers and strength and at a dead end that we can be the most effective, and God gives us strength to overcome. So just a quick recap over the 4 points that our author has shared with us. God's power is accessed through his word. Stay in the gospel. Stay in God's word, not just the gospel, but the entire Bible, right? God's power is accessed through worship. Make sure you're praising him with other people, by yourself. God's power is accessed through waiting. We have to be patient. God's power is accessed through our weakness, right? We're not doing anything on our own. We're doing it with God's help. Ask God for strength. If you have any obstacle in your life, that is all I have for you today. Thank you for coming to another daily devotional. We'll see you next time.